Hello and welcome to Honey Blush, episode number 5. I know we didn't post part 3 of 3 or 4 yet. We filmed it. We're still in the process of editing. We've been really busy clinically and also with administrative duties.
Yes.
You know, the two of us wear a bazillion hats.
Wait,
hold on.
Let me fix this verb.
Podcast hat. So the reason why I'm actually coming on here is because something tweaked me on social. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Well, first, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. I celebrated my niece's first birthday, which was very special. Spent time with some family.
Happy birthday.
And I had some revelations in life. So life is good. You know what? One thing I will say is let people show you how they feel about you, not tell you. Actions speak louder than words.
Period.
That's all I have to say.
Well, what did I do this weekend? Oh, well, Friday night we went out. We had a girly night out.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I forgot.
How did you forget?
I'm sorry, I know.
How'd you forget?
We had a great night out. That was fun.
Saturday was recovery.
Recovery.
Could have used an IV. But you know, we just got to suck it up and push through. I had to go to the mall and go shopping with my daughter. That was punishment enough for having too much of a good time on Friday night.
Because that's what women do. We power through.
That's what we do.
Hell yeah.
So, the reason why we're on here is because on social media this morning, I was kind of doing the scroll thing, doing the post thing. I have help now on social media, which I'm really grateful for.
Yes.
Which keeps me off of it a little bit, which I'm also grateful for. Okay, because I've been off of it for so long. I think I was the last person to join Facebook for the very reason of just basically people have too many opinions and I just don't want to be bothered and I just want to stay within my own little utopic bubble of Suvita and my life that's home.
Right.
In the little island of Staten. But yeah, so I'm doing the scroll thing and I do follow an account called Consultant Clinic and I saw their post this morning. The Staten Island's gonna come out.
Go ahead, girl.
Love Consultant Clinic. This is not a bash against Consultant Clinic. I'm actually grateful they posted this post. But they reposted this man that thought he was a manly man that went off on a rant saying that he's tired about hearing about this menopausal shit as if it's fake and not a real thing. Little did he know, I mean, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but at least give your opinion from a place of a little bit of knowledge.
Also, just from, I don't know, how are you going to speak about something that a woman's going through if you are not a woman?
Well, you know what I think? I think he's just pissed off that we're finally sticking up for ourselves.
That's true.
But it's a real thing. Perimenopause, menopause is a real thing. And it's not an excuse. I don't know what his credentials were. He looked like a juice head to me. Maybe he was a trainer. So he really has no room to even comment about women's health and women's hormonal health.
Yeah.
To be more specific. And he was flexing these photos of a 6-year-old woman that looked fabulous and put in all the work and had all the gains and she looked fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, but she did look like she put in the work, but he doesn't know whether or not she's not on any HRT. And even if she is, so what? We're replacing hormones to a physiologic status. Okay, we're not replacing hormones to be super physiologic because more is not more. More could actually be harmful.
It's just a strange thing to base off one opinion of someone's personal experience based off of how every woman feels. Too, there's some women who have different side effects of menopause too. How is he to even say oh, it's not real, it's just a concept that you think in your head when everyone has a different story and different symptoms of how they feel, and also what age it starts too. There's some women who start to feel those symptoms, I would say, sometimes even in their late 30s, right? You have
sometimes even their early 30s, depending upon the circumstances.
Yeah, so I think that's just such a strange concept to say that it doesn't exist when evidently, of course, it's not the same timeline or maybe the same story for everyone or maybe the same symptoms, but to make a general blanket statement like that it doesn't exist is so bizarre to me when you have people who have all different experiences of what that means to them and how that starts.
To be somewhat fair to this, Staten Island's going to come out. Again, we'd refer to him as a mook, Mama Luke. What else? Stunad's being kind. I'm just going to end it right there, okay? This dumb mook who's probably been juicing his whole entire life with a prescription,
Right.
okay, of steroid hormones, doesn't have any right to comment, number one. And number two, to be fair, because I did actually look through the whole reel eventually, it's not that he said it didn't exist. Made it sound like, well, it does exist, shit happens as we get older. But no, you cannot liken getting older. Like he's basically normalizing. He's just basically saying, hey, cool, you can suffer.
Yeah, like you deal with it.
Just deal with it, man. You're just getting older.
Which is such an easy thing to say when you're not going through that. So that's just so bizarre to me. I don't know. Because we know that it takes not only a physical toll on your body, but a mental toll too. How unfair of him to make an assumption that, oh, just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Estrogen is responsible for our mental well-being, okay, our cardiovascular health.
Right.
Okay, skin health, of course. Like estrogen is what keeps your skin nice and bouncy and gives you glow. Okay, reproductive health, sexual health, on and on and on and on. If this little man, because he's a little man, okay, stopped his juice for one day, I am quite sure he'd feel miserable. Okay, let's give it the week, okay? Because the way testosterone works is it kind of like peaks midweek and then you kind of come down. Unless you're microdosing, I like to microdose patients, but these are patients that need to be on replacement. Again, these are not super therapeutic treatments. This little man, if he's been off his steroids for a week, I guarantee you he'd be crying. So the difference is between men and women is that men do not stop producing testosterone unless they've been using exogenous testosterone for years, that they basically shut down their whole endocrine system by using exogenous steroids. Men do, even though the levels could drop, they do continue to produce testosterone, whereas women's ovaries completely shut down, shrivel up, and die. So I just wanted to somewhat come on here, of course, give my opinion, scratch the surface, give you a little bit of insight, but if this guy is a trainer, he should really have a little bit of a basic understanding of physiology.
That's why I always say, really think about what you're about to say, or also have the mindset to speak to other people before making such a very broad assumption like that. That like, oh, it's just in their head. Like, yeah, of course they deal with some hormone issues, but just deal with it. Like it just, first off, it's very insensitive. And second, it doesn't even make sense, to tell you the truth. So before he posted something like that, he really should have thought about the extent to what he was saying.
Well, I'm sure he's gotten a ton of publicity because, whether or not it's good publicity, bad publicity, publicity is still publicity nonetheless.
Yep.
So that's why I'm not even giving this meathead any credit, good or bad. I'm just calling him a mook, meathead, mama Luke, because that's what he is.
I think he just needs to have a conversation with someone.
He really does.
Other than his gym bros.
He really does. And
Yeah.
when you do put yourself on a social platform, you do kind of open yourself up to, I guess, others' opinions. You put yourself out there. Personally, you do kind of have to put yourself out there. When we finally started, and God knows it's not my favorite thing to do. Like, I love doing this because it's just you and I kind of just being real and talking.
Yes.
It was really uncomfortable for me to put myself out there,
Right.
to like basically say that we're whining and complaining. No, like we get the brain fog, we get the intra-abdominal fat, and we could be sticking to the same exact diet and exercise routine for years and years, and then suddenly, because you don't have that hormone to support you, you're developing intra-abdominal fat, which is dangerous. Again, libido goes down. On and on and on. You are now at more of a risk for heart disease. So the very fact that he said, I'm tired of hearing the girls complaining. Well, you know what I think he's afraid of? This isn't boys against girls. Again, this is not. I love my male patients. I love my female patients. It's just bringing in awareness, basically, to all of you and to other people. But I think he's just afraid of that. Who run the world? Girls.
We do kind of run the world, I'm not going to lie.
We do.
We do.
Do we need to tell him that?
I think it's just an important lesson to say he's allowed to have his opinion, right? I mean, whether we disagree or not, but it's an important lesson to learn that if you're going to post things like that publicly, like you said, be prepared for someone to combat you, or have an open mind to someone who's going to maybe tell you otherwise. I always think that's a good mindset. I mean, if he's really going to be stubborn to his point and think that he's right, unfortunately, it's a shame to think that if you're struggling with something and it's affecting your everyday life nonetheless, to just tell someone to deal with it.
You want to be mind blown? Okay, because this is really true stories, things that happened to me. Last week I went to my doctor,
Right.
routine stuff. Like I just wanted to talk to him. You know, he's my provider. I'm not my own provider. Like there, I am the patient. I am not the provider. Although he knows I'm a PA. We worked at the same hospital. So I'm sitting there asking him questions, telling him what I'm feeling. And he's basically telling me, do you know where the word hysterectomy came from and what it means? Hysteria. I kid you not. He pulled the crazy card. My own doctor pulled the crazy card.
That's
Crazy. He's
that's
crazy.
Unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because you're going into a setting where I know, coming from someone that's not a provider, I would want to walk into a setting and first off not feel judged and just, we all go through things, right? So to just say how you feel and say as it is, but also to be called crazy or make inappropriate comments, that's a whole other extreme.
Not funny.
Not funny, yeah.
Not funny.
At
Like
all.
maybe he felt comfortable knowing that I'm a provider. In the chair, I'm not a provider. I'm a patient.
Of course.
I'm not a provider. So
Yeah.
that really pissed me off. Again, putting myself out there, being completely truthful. I'm still cycling. Like in case you guys are wondering, oh, why is she going so hard at this topic? I'm still cycling. I still get my period. Love her or hate her. I tend to love her a little bit more than I hate her now. I want to hold on to my estrogen. So for those of you that are a little offended by what I have to say, truly that was not my intention. I come from a place of love, but I had to say something because you know what's really great about being in your 40s?
Tell me.
IDGAF! Exclamation.
I can't wait to get to that point.
Girl, it's liberating.
I can't. I know.
It's liberating.
I can't wait.
I'm just being me. You're just being you. I think you are at that point, honestly. You're a leader, not a follower.
Oh, well, in that sense, yeah. You know, but that is a work in progress. I can't wait for the day comes where I genuinely don't care. It will come though. I'm in my 20s.
It'll come.
Yeah.
Just like circling back a little bit to confidence, I just realized that this man, to go on a rant about female health, is probably not quite so confident.
That's what I'm saying. He has to speak to a woman.
A little bit of a Napoleon syndrome.
Ooh.
You know, when you're a little man, you make little man remarks. So to you mooks out there, get some education before you open your big fat pie hole. Much appreciated.
Jen out. Bye, guys.
All right, we're done.